Hey there, and welcome to the Business of Business podcast. Here we are two daughters and their dad, seeking to inspire and educate you to follow your dreams of being in business by teaching you the business of being in business. The good, the bad, the humor are all parts of our unique perspective as an entrepreneurial family. Thanks for joining us. So grab a coffee, turn up the volume. Here we go. I'm your host, Stacey J. Dempsey, and the J is very important. Why? Because it's what brings all the joy. I have with me, per usual, like always, thankfully, the other daughter, the only dad, Jack and Jennifer. Good afternoon to the both of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And so we're super fired up over here today because we're actually going to do a two-part series. Okay, so check us out. Two-part series. Today's going to be the first part for startup businesses when it comes to marketing and advertising. And we're going to talk about things like social media, doing it yourself versus hiring other people, and things that you can really be looking to do as you begin to start your business up. And so I know Jennifer has, being 5 years in the business, Jen, you definitely had your kind of growing pains of figuring out what you needed to do. And Jack's been in the game so daggone long. He's seen every type of marketing advertising out there. We talked a little bit about it before we hit record. I'm not sure how I felt about us being in the shopping cart at the local IGA, but that's neither here nor there at this point. So Jen, let's start with both of you guys, because I know, there are some things, there's a difference between marketing, self-promotion, advertising. And I know that you guys really wanted to break that down for the listeners before we, really jump into ideas and things like that. So I'll throw this over to you guys to start this up for us.
Well, I'll start because, again, I think one of the things that for startup businesses or existing businesses to always remember that there is a difference between marketing and selling. So really your marketing is what you're doing to promote the service of the services of your business, the products of your business, the things, the output, whatever that output is for your business. You're informing people, you're letting people know that this is what your business does. And so with marketing, the key is to, then differentiate possibly the product, that you offer from the competition, or the service that you offer from the competition. But again, it's not actually selling the product. It's just, it's promoting it. And then the same thing with promoting. It's promoting the product, and it's promoting either why you're the right person for, the client customer to go to for that particular product or service, or, your business, why they would come to your business for that particular product or service. So again, if you're in retail, you're going to be promoting your products that you're selling or product, why it's the best product, why the client should be buying your product over the competition. And then again, promoting, why they should come to you. Maybe it's if you're in a service business, maybe it's your background, your education, your experience, in that particular field, or maybe it is the fact that, you offer things along with your product, such as, service after the sale. So an example might be if you're selling appliances. Well, you might want to be promoting the fact that you have your own service team, that, if there's something that goes wrong with that appliance, once you buy it, they're not going to be calling some 1-800 number to try and get someone out there to fix it. That you have people that work for you that are going to come out, and they're going to service that product after the sale. So you promote that, as part of the value proposition, in your particular business for that particular product. So, and then the sale piece of it is then once you drive people to your business, then what are ways that you can add on to the sale or upsell the product. So for example, again, maybe if you're selling a product on the retail side, you might want to be training your people how to sell other accessories that might go with that product. You might want to be training your people on how to sell extended warranties, for example. Those are selling because you now have the customer or the client in front of you, and that's where the influence and the selling would come in. But marketing and promotion is not selling. Selling is what happens once you have that client or customer in front of you. So I think it's just important, that we don't lose sight of that as we talk about, all the different ways that we can do marketing, we can do promotion, and then ultimately convert, a prospect into a client or a potential customer into a customer. That's when the selling comes in.
Yeah, and talking about marketing, I know inside my business, there's marketing to your clients or your guests. We also do marketing for employment. So lots of different ways to do employment. This episode, we're talking about startup businesses. So, we were talking a little bit before we recorded, and 5 years ago, my startup business, we did all kinds of marketing, and really marketing to people just to get our name out there, right? Like startup businesses were marketing to just say, hey, we're a new business, this is where we are, and this is what we offer. So we're just doing a wide variety of different kinds of marketing. I'm laughing because I remembered 13 years ago marketing myself as a new hairstylist. I, printed out flyers and walked around neighborhoods putting them on people's mailboxes. And then, again, when we first opened the salon, we did all kinds of marketing kind of in the same way. We did a lot of postcard marketing. We were laughing. Dad told me, send them a pretzel tray. Like there's a dentist across the street from the salon. So send them a pretzel tray with your cards, your brochures. So, there's so many different ways to get creative, especially with a startup, on just simply how to get my name out there and how to let people know that you're a new business and you're open for business.
Well, and Jen, if I remember correctly, you had even sent Jack, when you opened J.Faith, you sent Jack over to the local grocery store. Something about a grocery store, the IGA, the other grocery store. Go to the grocery store parking lot, and Jack was over there handing out flyers right before. It was before J.Faith opened. It was before the grand opening. So I don't know, something about parking lots that.
Listen, we are never afraid to pound the pavement in this family. I'll tell you that for sure. There are most cars are at grocery stores, so let's start there. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I mean, let me just, since you brought it up,
right.
So let me just that is, when you're talking about a startup, we've got to, you've got to separate yourself, kind of from the competition, because now you're out there trying to get a foothold, into that community, and get some market share, so in that particular case, we're promoting a brand new hair salon, which for the most part are going to be women who are going to be coming to the salon. And so we're in a strip center that's directly across the street from a large grocery store. Well, in most cases, most of the people coming in and out of that grocery store are women. So So why not walk over there with, we didn't have brochures. We had little bags of samples and a business card. And, we just, as a woman would come out with her grocery cart with groceries, I mean, again, from a distance, because, we don't want to freak people out. I would say, I'm Jack Dempsey. We're promoting a new salon right across the street. We're handing out bags. Are you comfortable with me, coming up and giving you a bag? I mean, I would ask that from 5 or 6 steps. And of course, people, would be yes. I mean, it would be in the middle of the day and on a Saturday. And so, but again, we just started handing out bags of samples and, to get, just to start getting that promotion out there. And then we looked around surrounding the salon. There's doctor's offices, dentist offices. Again, assuming that many of the employees inside that office were women, so we wanted to do that. So, there was just, that's that creativity aspect of a startup, just to start getting your name out there. I mean, start to get people, and it worked actually. I think, all those things, everybody that got a bag didn't come to the salon, but we definitely got our name out there and started driving traffic, pretty quickly, to the salon. So.
Yeah.
Well,
And another
absolutely.
thing that go ahead, Stacey.
What I was going to say was, to your point, all the things that the both of you have described so far, Dad had mentioned it before we were recording, but casting a wide net when you're a startup, because even though you have not opened at that point, I don't even know if the doors were open. We were promoting, but the doors weren't open just yet. And although we had Jennifer and Dad kind of had an idea of who the ideal client was, still you were casting that wide net. And I think that was really important, what Dad said earlier about when you're a startup, you just kind of have to cast that wide net and get people to come in, because there were some things, Jennifer, that you tried that you realized were not going to be beneficial for your business. And one of those things was like a Groupon type of scenario. But that was one of the things I remember you doing to cast the wide net. Now, I don't think in your business it was ideal for you, Jen, but for other businesses, that could be a great way to get people into your establishment or taking a look at your business.
Definitely. And I was also thinking, about startup. We did a lot of community days. So you have to remember, startup, you really don't have a marketing list to go off of, right? So you don't have, emails and social media to really connect to anyone. So these community days, again, we're showing up, we're casting, just promoting our business in general. We just want people to know that we're there, giving away things. And most of the time doing a raffle and having people write their name and their email address to try and win something. And that's how we started to develop a marketing list of people that we could reach out to directly, and after those community days, I remember long nights of typing out, and again, this is startup, typing out personalized emails one by one. It was so great to meet you. I would love to see you in the salon, X, Y, and Z. So it's kind of just all those little touches to really start driving customers into your business. I mean, I think why we were so successful is because we were doing all of those things consistently, when, so other businesses just simply didn't want to waste a Saturday on a community day. So all good ideas for startups.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another thing as a startup, is, and we did this, I think this worked, is, we did do some, kind of bulk mail, to the community, so again, we didn't go, because all around the hair salon, there's, a lot of developments, a lot of, again, young families, and so we really picked, geographically an area to do that direct mail postcard. Again, just to get people aware that, hey, there's a new gig in town and it's right in your backyard and it's real easy. And, obviously we probably offered, I don't recall, but I'm sure we offered some kind of, discount to check us out. So, those are the kind of things that's marketing your business, that I think are still, we hear about social media and that's very important, but depending on your business, these things are still tried and true. It's as Jen said, it's hard work to go out and spend 3 hours at some kind of community day and have a tent and braid little kids' hair and spray paint them with all kinds of colors. But you're driving people to your booth and next thing you know, they're grabbing something and all of a sudden, you have, another person is going to consider your business. And so those are still tried and true in addition to the social media that you can use on top of that. But you mentioned Groupon, and I think that again, I'm not, everybody that I've talked to that really try to use that as a way to get their business off the ground. I've heard a lot of people say it really didn't work particularly well. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, if you feel that there's something there, but I'm not a Grouponer,
Right.
but I guess that there's a segment of our population that kind of fall into that category of Grouponers. That's just, they just look for the deals. They're not looking to,
Right.
ever come back again. They're just looking to get something, at a good price. So I think you do want to be careful. Promoting and giving some reason for someone to try you at a, at some kind of discount does make sense depending on your product and service. But I think you want to be careful, how you use those types of marketing tools because I've heard they're not particularly effective. And I think we stayed away from it altogether.
Right.
In Jen's situation.
Yes,
Well,
let's just clarify that in Jen's situation, there is no Groupon for insurance and financial services. Okay.
Right.
There is no Groupon. You cannot pay some money to get some money less somewhere else. And if you are getting that, you probably don't really have insurance. So let's just say that.
Yes.
All right.
Probably
You were going to say, Jen?
Yeah. Well, and making sure that you're keeping track of all this is a huge factor, right? So, I know for us startup, we were giving, I guess, we could call coupons or offers. And, so we really wanted to see the customers bring that back in and to be able to keep track of really what was working and what wasn't working and matching it up to the investment because it doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be a level of investment to making sure that makes sense for the business that you're in. So definitely make sure early on that you're taking notice of what is working and what isn't working. And what is working year 1, year 2 may not be working or make sense for your business year 5, year 6. So there's definitely a growth plan when it comes to marketing. Thank God.
Dempsey Weiss & Associates is a multi-line insurance agency successfully meeting the insurance and financial needs of the landscaping, business contractor, and agricultural community in southern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania since 1989. To learn more, visit us at www.dempseyweiss.com. J.Faith Hair Studio, centrally located in southern New Jersey. J.Faith Hair Studio is the place to go to become the best version of yourself. Confidence in your appearance is always important, and a great hairstyle is an absolute necessity. Visit jfaithhairstudio.com to book your appointment today.
Early on, you said it, Stacy, is when it comes to marketing and promotion, casting that wide net, using all the different tools that are out there. and then as time goes on and you start to build a client base, a customer base, then you kind of start to bring that and hone that into something that, is maybe a little more manageable now because you're busy running your business and operating your business. But, that casting that wide net is really important early on. So that's like in the hair, like the hair business. Now, like you said, Stacy, in our particular world, there's some businesses out there, you can't really use some kind of promotion like, discounts or coupons or
Right.
free samples. I mean, so we're going to, so we need to use more of, we have marketing, things to kind of start getting our brand out there. Certainly we can use different types of, you still do community days. You can go out there and still do those kind of things and get yourself out there. And again, depending upon, the market or the target market that you're going after, if you have some specific target markets, try to start finding out how to get involved in those target markets, whether it's if they have, annual events that you can be a sponsor or
Right.
can set up a booth and start to participate and become known is really a great way to start, promoting your business inside those target markets. But at the end of the day, you have to come up with something, that does allow you to position your business and separate from the competition. So that could be, maybe if it's a particular insurance product, for example, that is specially designed for a target market. So, whether it's, in our case, we might have a, target market for equine or horse insurance. And, so we have everything that we market to a prospect on there is going to reflect equine. I mean, so for example, we're not going to send something out to a client even through social media that is meant to land on equine and all the visual aspect of that has a carpenter on it or
Right.
Has some kind of different looking. We want pictures of of horses and people riding horses and working with horses, because that's we want that for them to be able to connect that dot that's a specialty product. So if you have anything like that, that's going to be your key. And then on the marketing side, on the promotion side, then promoting why you're the person that they want to talk to, because you have a level of expertise in that particular market. You have a level of expertise in the equine market or the veterinary market or things like that so they're going to want to come to you because they feel like you're an expert in their type of business. And so really promoting that can be very beneficial. So those are the kind of things that kind of in that service world where you're not able, because we can't certainly by law put things on sale or offer big coupons. Now we can have some small promotions, and a business can do small promotions around referring clients to you and things like that. So those can be very effective for a startup to kind of have ways to reward referrals to drive business to you. So, understanding all that is really important depending on the product and service that you're offering.
Awesome. So let's talk about social media a little bit, and things around social media and websites and all of that kind of jazz. Because, for someone who is doing a startup business, depending on who that is, they could have very well grown up with being very savvy about social media and websites. And then there could be someone who is doing a startup who perhaps social media and websites is a very new thing for them. So, but regardless, a startup, when it comes to social media and websites, well, Jen, we'll start with you. What's your take on it? I feel like I already know what you're going to say, but hit me.
I have a quote out there.
You do.
and all my listeners on our podcast and all my coworkers, they already know what I'm going to say before I say it. But 2021, if we're not on social media, then we're not in business. So I advocate. I tell people every single day how important social media is, especially if you're in any type of business. I certainly wouldn't want to work for a business that isn't on social media. I mean, it's just taking it back to what we already talked about. All of those marketing ideas and the things that we've done with startup businesses lead us to this point. And I know that we talked about it before we recorded, but a lot of those flyers and the things that we're still doing, I see it all of the time. I actually had a plumber working in my salon. So, he pulls up out front and he comes in and he's fixing my toilet. And my client in my chair is Googling him like, oh, wow, he has great reviews, right? So, the flyers, the marketing, the bounce back coupons, whatever it is that you're using, the next step that you have to start thinking about is that your client or your guest is now going to most likely go to social media and see what your online presence is all about. So we have to start thinking, especially as a startup business, what do we want our online presence to be, and how can we market to our ideal client?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely need the website, definitely need the social media. Now, obviously, when Jack was a startup, there was no social
Were
media.
there websites back then, Dad? What year did you
There
start?
wasn't even, Jen, there wasn't even cordless phones.
I know we talked about that before, but what?
That's right. It's true. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's no cell phones. I mean, if I couldn't find a client, I was looking for a pay phone to stop and so. But clearly things have changed, and so when it comes to social, I mean, the great thing about social media, and I think this really one of the reasons why we really want to continue to do this podcast, because I really think there's going to be more and more people stepping into entrepreneurship, because the cost of being an entrepreneur has come down quite a bit because of technology and social media. I mean, you can advertise a business now for really very little money, where just a few years ago, not that many years ago, it would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to promote that business. So it kept a lot of people out of the game, where now you're going to see more people able to do that. Now, with that said, you got to do it smart. And so I think that, one of the things that's important is whatever social media you decide to do, if it's a website and however you build that out, you have to keep it current. So be very careful not to, go all in on a website and realize, it's like landscaping your house. It's like you can go all in, putting all kinds of landscaping in, and then you wake up and realize, man, there's a lot of work in keeping all this landscaping up year after year after year. So it's the same with a website. You go and you build out a robust website and then realize there's a lot, and then you have clients looking at the website and saying, oh, let me see what they have on their blog post, and they open up, your last blog was November of 2014, because you couldn't keep up with it. So it hurts the credibility of your business. So you're much better off kind of just going in with with really what you're looking to accomplish, kind of staying really focused on that until you feel like as you build out that presence, it's building out in such a way that it can be kept current, it can be kept relevant, because if you don't, it can almost backfire on you from that perspective.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is then capturing information. In today's world, data is king. You have to figure out how to capture, your customer information so that, you can continue to market to them through social media and through email. And, so again, using the different Facebook and, all the different ways that you can connect with people, but trying to get that information is something that you have to, really build into your system of building that database, because over time, the more robust database you have, the more people you can reach, the more things that you can do, and that's just going to just continue to drive, hopefully, traffic, to your business. But you've got to get that. You've got to be in a place to get that information, and as Jen said, with your team. Always communicating, the fact that, we need to be getting that information. So that makes that part of the system in your business to make sure you're getting emails. And it should be getting easier to do, right? It shouldn't be overly difficult because everybody's used to giving that information out today. I mean, pretty much everything you do requires them to send, you put an email in. So, so that's another critical piece. But social media, again, that's in my eyes is marketing and promotion. It's not selling, right?
Right.
It's marketing promotion. It's not selling. And I think that's where, you can't expect, what you're trying to do there is get people to drive people to your business. And then once they come in your door or somehow come and connect with your business, that's when you have to then engage in a selling process. So, so if you have metrics, for example, that your social media is providing you metrics on how many people are opening things and that you're sending out, I mean, that's where you need to engage. You can't, if you're doing just social media with the idea that, people are going to call you, well, that's might be the case in some businesses, but most not. There's going to be a point where somebody might have to pick up the phone and say, hey, thanks for checking in on our stuff on social media. It looks like you've really been engaging. We'd really love to have you come in and, engage in our business, so whatever that looks like. So there might be a point, and that's when, now you're getting one-on-one with that client. But your marketing should be telling you who's the best people, to get that one-on-one communication going with.
And let's just be honest. Social media can be stressful, especially as a startup business. You are everything, right? So social media can be stressful on what am I supposed, number one, what is my social media supposed to look like? What am I supposed to be posting? When am I supposed to be posting? And so it can be very overwhelming, whether you're quote unquote technology savvy or not. It is a part of your everyday business life. Let's just be honest. And I'm not saying that it should be stressful. I think that you need to go through and carve out a system for social media, which will make it a lot easier. But, really putting on your social media, quote me, Stace, quote me, it is absolutely insane for you not to do business with us.
Yep.
That's what your social media is there for. And of course, we've talked about this in, prior podcasts, as people can message you and ask questions and all this. So a startup, you have to do it all. Listen, I'm still managing 2 Instagrams, 2 Facebooks. It can be very overwhelming at times until, you you get fancy like dad and you have your own marketing person. But trying to figure out a system of, this is what I'm doing on Monday. This is what I'm doing on Tuesday. These are the hours I'm doing it. I'm telling you, it takes a lot of pressure off whether you feel like you're good at social media or not. I hear it all the time that I'm not good at technology, and that just can't be an excuse in 2021. You have to figure out how to be good at social media. And that doesn't mean that you need 5 million followers. And that doesn't mean that you need 500 likes on every post. It's all about being consistent and planting the seeds of, hey, we're here, we're in business, we're not going anywhere. And you must be crazy not to want to come into my salon and see what we have to offer you. Whether you're a client or a future stylist, we got you. So that's really what social media is all about.
And there's
Awesome.
a place, there's a place in this where, and we've talked about it, on a prior podcast, it's that sigmoid curve. As you're starting out, you might be handling a lot of this stuff yourself, on the social media, and you're just working at it, from early to late between everything you have to do. But that is one area of investment that you say, okay, social media, we've already identified as critical to our business. And so, we need to make sure that we are growing that. Well, I can't do that. So I need to put, my battery's about ready to go dead. Hold on a second.
I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, just plug it into the side.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Get it in the wall right there. Sorry about that. Computer's about ready to go. So, that might be the place where you're going to make that reinvestment very quickly. To say, all right, I need to shift this and pay, a consultant or someone to do this for me.
Right.
And that might be one of those early investments that you need to make in your business, to make sure you continue to grow, because you just can't keep up with it.
Well, that's an excellent point, Jack. And so before we sign off to our listeners, I do want to share this story of someone that I know in our community who is a very, very popular realtor. And he was telling me, and he has a fabulous Instagram. That's where he gets a lot of his businesses driven from, is from Instagram, because, pictures of houses and, all of that, who does his Instagram? Just guess.
His 13-year-old daughter.
Yes.
You hear it
Now
all the time.
listen, this is no comparison to anyone who is a true marketing professional and manages, marketing lists and SEO and website and updating blogs and all of this. This is, an Instagram account. However, he's an extremely successful realtor. So he sometimes, when you hone in, he knows exactly who he's marketing to. He knows exactly the type of social media that he gets a lot of his business from, and he focuses all of his energy on making sure that Instagram, does really well. But the actual physical uploading, posting, cropping, putting in subtitles, making reels, all of that, all of the creative portion of it is from his 13-year-old daughter. How about it? So let's be creative, people. We need to cast a wide net when we're starting out our businesses. We need to make sure we capture our data. And we need to make sure that we establish our social media and our websites, because you have to be able to be Googled. That's just the world in which we live in. Because like Jennifer said, if you're not on social media, you're what? You're not in business. So we want to say thank you to our listeners for tuning in today. Please know that we greatly appreciate you. Please be sure to share us with your family, your friends, your coworkers. Don't keep us a secret, this is just too good. This is just too good. And I also want to remind you that you can find us. You can email us. At twodaughters, twodaughters and their dad at gmail.com. Ask us any questions that you would like to hear answered on our podcast. So until we can be together again, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. We want to thank you for listening today. Please subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave us a positive review. And we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Dempsey Weiss & Associates and J.Faith Hair Studio.